that part.
Hmm.
See, we need more of that mindset. I think there's too much fear to share
Hmm.
because it's like, well, if I share with you, you're going to take it and run with it. And then I'm going to be stuck here in the dirt and betrayed and all this. We need more trust in our communities. We need more opportunity to collaborate. But there has to be, especially in underserved communities and in communities, BIPOC communities, people of
Hmm.
color, whatever. I think in these communities, we have to kind of let go of some of the things that have taken place in the past and some of the mindsets of
Sure.
you can't share, you can't do, you can't collaborate. Like we've got to start looking at some people that did make a difference, like hidden figures.
Yep.
That's why we're on the moon. That's why we have a GPS system. That's why we have so many different things.
That's right.
Because some of us are rising up and saying it is okay to collaborate. It is okay to trust. And it is okay to collaborate and be among others who are just as great
That's
and
right.
greater than you.
And
Equally
understanding
or together.
that failure is a part of greatness.
Right.
Thomas Edison said, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work."
Beautiful. It's the perception of it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so with that said, you talk about so many of these different things that would help in these communities. And so I kind of have a question for you regarding, so then how are you able to kind of use all of your journey, your experience as an educational leader? How were you able to use that and help others? And how did grit help you?
So the interesting thing is where you become most effective as an educator, whether it's by vocation or just that you have circles of influence that you help people out. It's the experiences
Yeah.
that you've gone through in life is where grit is born, because there are things that stopped you and there were things that you said, you know what, this isn't going to stop. When I was 7 years old, I was hit by a car, knocked me, way down, broke my femur in half.
Oh my goodness.
And my doctor told my mother that I would always have one foot would be shorter than the other. I'd have to wear one of the shoes that had the extra. I'd never play sports. I'd probably walk with a limp and all that. And my mom said, for the next year and a half, I watched my son pretty much tell that doctor, you don't know what you're talking about, okay?
Right.
And I've played every sport. I don't have a limp. My legs are both the same length. And
Wow.
and the doctor said to me, I've never seen anybody that determined.
Beautiful.
But the thing is through that experience, I got to learn a lot of things, because even at as young as 7 years old, having to spend the entire summer in the hospital looking out the window at the kids playing, and I couldn't do that, taught me how to know who Elgin is, and for
Yeah.
Elgin to be okay with being alone, and that I didn't miss out. And so
Oh
my
goodness.
teachers would bring me books, and so I started to read, and so that helps you move through all
Wow.
of the stages of your life. And then as an intellectual or as an individual, as you begin to open yourself up to learning new things, the
Right.
resilience come from the ability to add to your repertoire. So now I love when I hit something that I don't know,
Yeah.
because it allows me to grow as a person, and then allow me to be able to talk to other people who are going through the same thing.
Beautiful. Right. And so you even spoke in your TEDx. Your TEDx, you spoke about engage. And
Yes.
and I want you to kind of talk to us a little bit about the title of your TEDx talk and what the point, like what the main point of the talk was for the audience. Just because I want them to know that about you, and then just the grit that it took for you to put all that together.
Sure. So the name of the talk was The Relationships We Build. And it kind of was born because my wife and I made the decision that she was going to leave her firm and come work in the family business. And even though I'd had the company for 10 years, having to quantify what I actually did to someone who hasn't been involved was really a challenge. And so as I began to think about it and pray about it and meditate about it, Engage was born. It was, all right, so what I actually do is help people build better relationships. And the relationships could be between your product and the community, you and your workers, you and your suppliers, that it all works together. And so each of the letters in the acronym that spell out Engage are a different facet for you to consider whenever you engage someone. And I don't care if you're in that person's face for just 3 minutes. If I take the opportunity to be empathetic, if I take the opportunity to not be judgmental, if I take the opportunity to help you because I can, right? Then that whole interaction changes. And then what happens is once you gain that, the grit of it all is that in every situation, even when somebody's getting on your nerve, you need to be engaged. Even when that cop pulls you over, you need to be thinking, all right, let me look at this from his point of view.
But didn't you share a story like that? I think you shared a story like that, how you used Engage with the interaction with the law enforcement.
It was with the Klansman.
Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about that again. So it's
absolutely. So I was working in a little small town in Georgia in a retail store, a mattress store to be exact. And this gentleman walks in and he has on the jeans and the plaid shirt and the cowboy boots and the bent bill cap and a huge Ku Klux Klan belt buckle.
Oh my God.
So yeah, he told me he was looking for a mattress for his daughter. And you know what? We just started talking about dads because it turns out that his daughter was about the same age as my daughter at the time. And we were just laughing about a 10-year-old girl and all of the stuff that she has to do. And so as he pulled around front and I'm loading the mattress into his truck, he said, you've got to be the most intelligent color fella I ever talked to. And I said, how many color fellas have you talked to?
Yeah.
He's like, good point. And the cool part is that by being curious, by being open to something new, I really wanted to show him that I know what you expected to happen when you came in here. But instead, I can give you energy that takes it in home. He even waved to me as he drove out of the parking lot.
The beautiful part is everybody would have assumed, that you would have probably started like picketing and protesting and being upset and saying that was your just main enemy because he had a KKK belt. And I mean, he's just basically blatantly telling you, this is my stance. But because you met him with an energy of love and engage, you gained a friend. And so I want the audience to kind of keep that in mind, that just because, we're surrounded by things or culture experiences or whatever that might make us a little bit uncomfortable, or it might just scream at us, this is not you, this is opposition. It might not be. I want to challenge people like you did to take grit with them into those situations. You took grit and you were curious and you said, no, I'm going to find a way to connect with this man. You didn't have to.
That's
you could
right.
have ignored him. You could have just been like, whatever. But you took grit. You cultivated grit enough to build a relationship with someone that society said was your archenemy.
That's
and
right.
I commend you for that. And so with that said, what advice do you have for people to be able to do the same as they're, implementing your steps here of Engage? How can they do that to build relationships effectively?
Two words: slow down. Okay, we're so quick to jump to a conclusion. We're so quick to be offended. We're so quick to believe that we're being disserved. Here's a quick funny story for you. I was sitting in a restaurant with a friend of mine, and we were having some buffalo wings, and he asked the waitress, could he have another blue cheese? And she said, sure, but it's 50 cents. And he said, I bet you if I was white, you'd gave it to me free. And he stormed out. And so she's standing there wondering, what just happened? What just happened? And so finally he comes back in and he sits down, and I point to him on the menu. I said, it says right here.
Yes, thank you.
for the blue cheese. But since he had decided that he wanted to be offended before something happened,
oh my goodness,
he absolutely found a reason to be. And even though it was right there on the menu.
Right. See, now this is what I want to talk about as well. Being able to take events and oppositions and offenses and to use that energy to build your greatness through engage and through grit instead of being a victim. So becoming a victor. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?